Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be a huge giveaway and Q&A to celebrate my 6th year here on YouTube with all of you. So if you want to get to know me a little bit more, have some of these amazing questions that you guys sent across on my Instagram stories, as well as finding out how you can enter and win all of these amazing goodies, then you better keep watching. Okay, so it has been a long time since I feel like it's been a long time since I did a giveaway here on my channel, and that I just don't like it. I like to do giveaways really frequently. I like to be able to share some of the amazing PR and products that I get to try thanks to you guys supporting my channel with you. I really feel like it's important to give back and to share it with you all, but I've really felt uncomfortable doing that while there have been these massive issues with scammers here on YouTube pretending that you've won giveaway prize and messaging you and pretending to be me on the YouTube app. And I kind of wanted to wait until that had settled down a little, and it's hard to tell, to be honest. I haven't really noticed an issue with it on my channel very recently, but they tend to like go quiet and then they come back again. So I want to be adamantly clear here that I will never and have never asked any of my subscribers to message me on Telegram, to WhatsApp me, to text message me. I will never ever ask you to do that. I will never do a giveaway in that way. If someone using my profile picture is replying to your comments on my YouTube channel saying you have won a giveaway or please contact me on Telegram or on WhatsApp, that is not me. That is a scammer. Please ignore them, report them if you have the energy to do that, block them, delete, whatever you have to do. Do not interact with them in any way. That is a scammer and I hate them, and I'm very cross that that is happening to you. So please know I will never ever ask you to message me on any app, and I will never reply to your comments in my YouTube thread telling you to do that or that you've won a giveaway. The only way that you will know that you've won a giveaway is if I send you a DM on Instagram, and that is the unfortunate thing. You do have to have an Instagram and you do have to be following me in order to enter a giveaway, because that's how we stop scammers happening, and that's how you can know for a fact it is me messaging you, because if you click on the profile that sent you a message, you can see that you're following me and then you'll know it's really me. So that is how I will contact you. So rule number one, if you want to enter this giveaway, you must be following me on Instagram so I can safely contact you and we can all keep these scammers from making any money off of us or anybody falling for their disgusting tricks. So I will tell you later on in this video how you can enter, but that is how I will contact the winner. Please ignore any comments that are replying to you telling you you've won. That is not me. Those are disgustingtons. But enough about scammers, let's make it all about me, because this week, or last week as it is now, I hit my 6 years anniversary on YouTube. I always like to sort of celebrate and just mark it, 1 with the giveaway and 2 with the Q&A, so you guys can ask me any little nosy little questions that you might have about me. So let's get on with giving the people what they want, some answers. So Laura, lovely Laura says, what's your favourite video? I still think I always answer this the same way. My favorite video is my why does your makeup not look like their makeup video. It's years old. It is one of the main reasons most of my followers found me. It's the video that kind of gave me a big kick up in my number of subscribers and kind of pushed my channel into a more successful place of growth, and I'm just really proud of it. You know, that was right at the start of my YouTube journey. I really still didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I was monetized, which is really frustrating because it was like my most viral video and I made no money off of it because I wasn't monetized that first year. So yeah, not great. But I think so many people got something out of that video, and it helped so many people understand like the smoke and mirrors that come with social media, especially in the beauty space. And if I can do or say anything to make someone feel more confident, or to make someone understand that they are not alone, or that they're not different, or everyone else doesn't have something that they have, then that is all I want to do. Itinerant Islander says, what do I appreciate in a YouTube YouTube content creator in beauty, one of the major things that I love to find in a YouTube creator is one, like someone who makes me laugh and entertains me, and two, someone who is like my skin tone. That's all I ask for. I want to laugh and I want someone who's my skin tone, and I feel like it's really tricky to find, but once you find those people who are your skin tone and they match you, oh, it's life-changing. You know exactly how everything they review is going to look on you. You know if it's going to suit you, you know if it's going to show, if it's going to be your skin tone. It's so helpful. And I feel like there are so many beauty channels these days that it's very hard to sort of separate them and pick your favorites and who you want to follow and who you want to watch intermittently, because there was just so much choice and everybody does such an amazing job. For me, I love someone who is entertaining me, makes me smile, that I can warm to and feels like my friend, and that also has my skin tone, and skin type and age, anything like that that makes it more likely the products are going to work on me how they work on them. Nikki asked, what's your favorite type of video to make? I just love a chatty one. I love a chatty one where we can have a laugh. You know, I've been really enjoying my Get Ready With Me's telling you guys funny stories because they're fun, they're light-hearted, they're easygoing. You know, I don't have to do a huge amount of prep, and you guys love them too. And I think it's just like chatting with friends, and those are the ones that are really easy. You don't have to think about, you just sit down and have a chat. Although you obviously aren't here and I look like a crazy person, I still feel like we're having a chat. You know? HR Girl 91 says, who is your favorite couple in all the seasons of Love Island? That's a really hard one. That is a really hard one. I feel like the one that kind of immediately sprung into my head, mostly based off the fact that one, they were just such wonderful, lovely, genuine people. Two, that they're still together now, married and having children, and it's just beautiful. But it's Camilla and Jamie. I feel like they just had the most beautiful love story. Like Camilla was really struggling in her season because she was just not your average Love Island girl. You know, she was mega intelligent, very, very natural. You know, her boobs were the ones that she was born with. She had a crazy job. You know, she just came from a completely different world to like the vast majority of Love Islanders. And she was really having a tough time like finding a match in there or finding anyone who was really interested in getting to know her, because she just was so different, so intellectual, so intelligent, such a feminist, and a lot of the men in there couldn't handle it. And then along came Jamie, a Calvin Klein supermodel who everybody initially was like, oh no, he's not interested in Camilla, he's not really interested in her. I think they've proved you wrong. I think they've proved you wrong. I think we've proven now that a Calvin Klein supermodel entering the Love Island villa, who could have had the pick of any of the women in there, wanted the gorgeous, natural, clever, intelligent, confident beauty, and she's just amazing. And I love them both, and I love them together, and I love their love story. I love it. I love it. I love them. Just amazing, normal people, you know? Beautiful, normal people at that. Bess says, have you ever been to Australia? If not, do you want to? Yes, I have been to Australia. I used to train there when I was a swimmer, a few months a year. So I have sort of had a living residential Australian experience, and I loved it there. I was so happy there. I've always said it was one of the places where when it was time to come home, even though I was super young and I missed my parents and my family and everything, I just didn't want to come home, and I was devastated every year when it was time to come home. It was really sad. I just felt very at home there and I loved it. Would I ever want to move there? Probably not. One, just because it's so far from my family. And two, spiders. I wasn't a fan of the spiders, okay? That was a torrid time. Melbon77 says, I love makeup, but how can I get to the point where I don't give a hoot? I'm assuming that you spelled that wrong. About other people's opinions. You know, I think for me, I've just never really cared. I've never really cared. I grew up as a teenager, in my adolescent years into my 20s. I was a full-time swimmer. So I was always wet, makeup free, in a tracksuit, bedraggled from the pool, still with wrinkly fingers. So I've never really had like a concern to a vast degree about my appearance, because I've always just had like no shame in that respect. I remember I used to go into like Ted Baker, Karen Millen in Bath, fresh from training, looking like an absolute box of dog biscuits, and you know, no one really ever batted an eyelid, and I've never cared if they did. I've just never even noticed, because it was, you know, part of my life. Was I was sporty, I was a swimmer, I was always wet, tired, and dressed in a tracksuit looking like death, but that was my life. So I think coming from like a sporty background made me much less concerned with what other people think of my appearance, because it's just not a thing when you're an athlete. Like, you have no control over it. So I've always just been very, very at ease with that. I think the number one lesson that I would say when it comes to makeup, either wearing it or not, and what kind of makeup you're wearing and what other people think about it, is to just really remind yourself and come to a place of understanding that people care way less and even notice way less than we think that they do. Most people have their own problems, their own faces to worry about, and really do not care about ours and aren't interested in it. And I think if you find that there are people in your life who do notice and care, what are they in your life for? Do you need them? Are they worth keeping around? Anyone who makes you feel a negative way about yourself, your appearance, who judges you, just get rid of them. You know, life is far too short to let anyone else influence you, your happiness in any way. Petra Josephine says, what is the best thing with having a YouTube channel? I mean, it's easily you guys. I have, like so many of you have told me, have no one really in my life who's super into makeup, who loves makeup, who loves products, trying new makeup. I don't have anyone who really is super into makeup like me. So having now all of you to chat about makeup and share our recommendations and just share our excitement over new launches and, you know, bad mouth some of the bad ones together. It's just like creating your own little gang of friends. You know, on YouTube, your people will find you. There will be people who are not your people. They don't like you. They don't laugh at your jokes. They don't think you're funny, and they don't want to spend time with you, and they will see themselves out generally. Sometimes you have to show them the door. Sometimes they'll see themselves out. Either way, they won't stay. What you end up with is a community, regardless of how big or small it might be. You end up with a community of your people, your kind of people who do like you, who like the things you talk about, who enjoy listening to you, and who you enjoy chatting with. And it's just a beautiful, wonderful thing. That is without doubt the best thing about YouTube, is creating your community of people. It's just glorious. Where else can you do that? Ali Shane Newson says, do you ever get recognized out and about by subscribers? Yes, that has happened, and it's been so lovely every time. It's only happened maybe 3 or 4 times. I've had people like message me to say they've seen me. I saw you today somewhere, something like that. But yeah, that's happened more often. But yeah, a few times I've had people just come and say hi, and it's been so lovely every time. Tintin98 says, have you always been that funny? Have you thought of doing stand-up comedy? Yes, I have always been absolutely hilarious. I've always been an utter hoot, in my opinion. Stand-up comedy is absolutely categorically not something I have any interest in ever doing. I'd rather not. Frankly, I'd rather not. I have done a couple of big speeches. So I did a speech at my wedding, I did a speech at my sister's wedding, and we all had an absolute utter hoot during those speeches. I was going to say we, but I was doing it by myself. I definitely had the funniest speech from my wedding, from my sister's wedding, of everybody, okay? The best men, don't think so. Don't think so. It was mine. Mine was the funniest, okay? So I do love doing stuff like that, but stand-up comedy is just not something that is for me. It's not something I would ever want to do. I can't think of anything worse, frankly. Robertson1592 says, having a family and a YouTube channel, do you run on a daily schedule or do you just plan as you go? I had a few questions about this, like how do you stay organized? How do you balance everything? How do you prioritize? How do you schedule? I had a good few questions along these lines. These I recommend highly. These are like peel off weekly planner sheets. I got this from Amazon. These rule my life, okay? Let me tell you. I have a bit of a schedule that is created for me by like school, clubs, football, gymnastics, swimming, horse riding. All of these clubs, they have times and places I have to be. So that schedule is there, as well as obviously school and all the stuff that goes along with school. We have that schedule in place. I kind of have a weekly sort of loose schedule that I like to run to that just helps me stay like I know what I'm doing. So I plan on a Sunday night. I sit there and I know what videos are coming up that I'm going to do. I keep a list in my phone of any ideas that I come up with, anything that's new to review. On a Sunday night, I plan out my week, and as long as everything goes to plan, that's pretty straightforward. You know, I usually film a couple of videos on a Monday, then I have a couple of days editing, and then film again, couple of days editing. What messes me up is the unknown, okay, which is the same for everybody. If that's a smooth, normal week, then fine. If it's not, say a child is sick, we've had teacher strikes here in the UK, so where I was expecting, you know, to have a full week of work, and then 2 days the kids have been home because the school was on strike, things like that. Someone's got chicken pox, you know, my husband has a meeting somewhere, something goes awry, that's when it's tricky. Also, we have a lot of school holidays here in the UK. Literally every 6 weeks in the UK, there's either a week or 2 weeks or even 6 or 7 weeks in the summer where my children are home. And that's then a lot tougher, because when my kids are home, I want to be here, I want to be present, I want to be a mum, I do not want to be working ever. So that's when, you know, it's tricky. But really, yes, we're flying by the seat of our pants over here, and it's not always easy, but we're doing it. We're just doing our best. Sarah1572 says, would you consider filming a morning or evening routine? It's never really something I've wanted to do, to be honest. I've had questions about vlogs or doing these sorts of videos. I did a few vlogs when I first started my channel, but I very quickly decided it just wasn't for me for a few reasons. One, I didn't want my children to be on the internet. When they were like babies, that was fine. They all look like babies. Who could pick one out of a lineup? Not me. I barely knew which one was mine when I came to the end of nursery pickup, okay? So now that they are like more recognizable, they are fully grown little people, I don't want them on the internet. I certainly don't want them on my YouTube channel. And the same thing about my home as well. I really don't want to show my home or show much of my home. So that makes vlogging basically impossible. Being a mum, you know, how am I really giving any sense of my life without including my children? I just can't. And the same thing with like showing my home. Those are two things that I very quickly realized. I had experiences, I spoke to other creators about experiences they have had, and I very quickly realized that I did not want to share my home, places I go, places near where I live, or my children online. So for me, that basically rules out anything along those lines. So that's why I don't do those kinds of videos, and I don't really plan to in the future. Paula says, I'm simply curious about any filler you might have got, as your face is so smooth. Thank you. I also had a question from Emma Rithington, who says, what work have you had done or would you like to get done? So I haven't had anything done. I've never had any filler, Botox, any kind of cosmetic procedure. The only thing that would maybe even vaguely qualify that I've ever done would be microblading. I had microblading like, I want to say like 5 years ago. It's long gone now, but that is the only thing I've ever done. I've never had lip filler, filler in my face, Botox, anything like that. I've never even had like a peel, a facial, like beyond like a normal, you know, putting some lotion and a massage on the face. I've never had anything whatsoever done. Not to say that I would never. There's nothing I think that I would like to have done, that's for sure. And I certainly have no issues whatsoever with cosmetic procedures or anything like that. People should just fully do whatever they want to do with their own face and body. It's nothing to do with me, and it does not affect my life. I am absolutely terrified at the thought of filler or Botox. It just doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I'm very frightened of something going wrong and messing with my face. So yeah, it's not something that appeals to me personally. I wouldn't say I will never ever have any cosmetic procedure, because maybe I'll feel differently in 20 years time. But right now it's certainly not something I'm thinking about or something that I'm interested in or looking into. I just don't have any interest in doing anything like that, to be honest. The one thing I have been thinking about recently is a lip blush, which is like a bit like microblading for the lips. I've definitely lost some volume in my lips, and mostly not so much volume but definition actually, so it's kind of hard to see exactly where my lip line is. And I also have this strange bit, and I have like some pigmentation under where my lip line is. So what I would like is actually to do a lip blush which is like a sort of very sheer wash of colour, like microblading. It's like tattooing, semi-permanent tattooing on the lips of colour, just to give me a definition of my lip line, and that will make my lips look fuller without having to do filler, because filler terrifies me, particularly lip filler, because I feel like I've seen it go wrong so often and it can be really problematic. So that terrifies me, whereas I feel like something like a lip blush I could get on board with, but nothing else. Not right now anyway. Handmade by Shan says, do I enjoy making videos more now than when I first started out? Absolutely yes, because it's just way more natural now. Like I have never scripted my videos. I just sit down and say whatever comes to mind pops out my mouth. I never plan anything. Maybe I should, but I don't. But when I first started, I obviously was much more nervous, much more uncomfortable. I had to think a lot more, you know, for words and things. So I feel like I couldn't really show my personality or be myself, because I was like, so much was going on up here just to get words out. Whereas now I just ramble on forever and I feel completely comfortable and I can be myself more, and I don't have to concentrate or I feel like I'm making this sound bad, but it's just way more natural and it comes much more naturally to me. I know what to say, I know the words, I know kind of the vague direction I'm going in sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And therefore I can kind of just relax and have fun with it. So it's definitely much more enjoyable now, for sure. Ooh, Lovely Bronze says, how am I enjoying Maths Australia? I love Maths Australia. I love Maths UK as well, but the Australian one just is, I feel like, more dramatic usually. Not always, but usually there's more drama in the Australian one. This year is ridiculous. It's an insanity. Okay, no spoilers, because I think I'm probably behind still where Oz are. I think I'm a couple weeks behind you guys. But what I feel like with Maths, both in the UK and the Australian version, there's always like one raging narcissist of a person on that show. Sometimes there's a couple that I feel like we didn't do background checks very well here, or we did them, they knew exactly what they were getting and they put them in for entertainment value, which I hate, because you've done that to someone and they trusted you to match them with someone that they were going to have a nice future with. And I feel like sometimes there's not a chance when you were recruiting these people and doing background checks and interviews with them, you didn't pick up on the fact that they're a raging narcissistic misogynist. I feel like you knew that was coming and you've done that to some poor woman who wasn't expecting it. Usually a woman, there's definitely been some horrid women on there as well. It's not all just the men, okay? There's been some horrible people on both sides. I mean, Olivia, anyone? I feel like this season in Oz, it's like there's 5 or 6 of them. Usually there's like 1 or 2 bad eggs, maybe. This year, I'm like, oh my God, even the ones that I thought were nice initially are turning out awful. Almost all of them are awful. There's only really a couple that I like. And even the ones that you thought were getting on great and seemed normal are in fact not. So yeah, I feel like it's really dramatic and it's making me really angry, which it does most of the time anyway. But this year, it seems like the worst ever. There are so many utter misogynists on there, and gaslighting is like off the chart. I can't remember like the proper meathead guy. Like he was literally gaslighting his wife that she was gaslighting him. Maya asks, how did I meet my husband? I met him at work, so not very exciting. That's the end of that story. Very, very boring. Luca by the Sea says, congrats, thank you so much, beautiful. What is the hardest part about juggling YouTube with family life? I think, and working at home, I think the hardest bit about YouTube, like balance stuff, is really like there's no cut off to it. You know, I wake up in the morning and the very first thing I do before I even get out of bed is check makeup retail websites. Has anything launched? Is there anything I need to know about? Is there anything I need to order? Is there anything I need to make a video about, etc.? I do that every single morning at like 7 a.m. That starts, you know, then I have time with my kids, we do breakfast, school runs, all of that. I get back, I'm filming and editing all day. And then, you know, if a video's gone up, there'll be comments and things to reply to in the evenings. And you could never stop from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to bed. It's all on your phone and it's very easy not to stop. And that was a big lesson for me, is how do I stop? When do I stop? Where's the cutoff? Especially when you grow, when you start out, you know, you might get 3 comments. That takes 2 minutes to reply to. But as you grow, and I really wanted for the longest time to reply to every single comment I got, and I tried for a very long time to do that until it was breaking me and I was definitely burning out. So I took some advice from my wonderful friend Mel. She gave me so much advice over the years, and one of the number one things was 2 hours. Reply to comments for 2 hours after your video goes up. That way you avoid a lot of the trolls, you avoid a lot of seeing the really horrible comments from people who aren't your subscribers when they come along later. And it also means you've got a cut off. You reply for 2 hours, then you put your phone down, and that's it for the day. So those cut offs, that's the most challenging bit, is when you work from home and your job is pretty much on your phone. How do you ever stop yourself working? It's very challenging, but I've definitely found ways and taken advice over the years to get better at that. Kate says, would I have any more kids? It's so hard. I feel like so many people told me, oh, when you're done, you know you're done. And I never felt like I was done. Like, I tried for a good couple of years after I had my son to get my husband to agree to more. But my son was a surprise, okay? My daughter was very much like, planned, we're ready to have a baby, let's go. And then I had such a traumatic birth and recovery with my daughter that I really was not sure I wanted to sign up. Pregnancy also was horrendous. So I really was unsure for a very long time that I wanted to sign up to another baby, and we talked about it and we were going back and forth and we didn't know what to do. And then I changed my birth control and my son came along. We always like to joke that he got so sick of like waiting for us to decide that he just decided for us, and it was just perfect because, you know, there was a really small gap between them. My daughter wasn't even 2 when he was born, so they're so close. They love each other so much. They do everything together. You know, they're interested in the same toys. They like the same places. They enjoy the same films when we go to the cinema, all of that stuff. So it just worked out perfectly. But because my son, pregnancy, birth, recovery were all a dream, I was like immediately wanting more. I was like, I want to do it again. Let's do it again, because it was so good and so smooth and so beautiful and easy. But my husband was like, we were only going to have 1 and now there are 2, you know? So we went back and forth. We had debates about it. I wanted to have more instantly. He was like, whoa, please no. And yeah, time went by, and really now it's very hard to envision a change to our family dynamic. You know, my children are so close. They love each other so much. They are so perfect, beautiful. And I have, you know, a girl and a boy. And I always feel like in my head, you know, if I have another child, there's going to be 2 of one and 1 of another, and I feel like that one's not going to have a friend. There's all these things, okay, but I still never have felt in a place to say I will never have more children. I've still never felt like I'm completely done, but my husband has. So yeah, I don't know really. I feel like that ship has sailed. You know, my youngest is now 7, and I really can't imagine going back to like newborn sleepless nights situations. But yeah, I would never say never, because you just never know. You never know. I mean, we thought we knew after 1, and look what happened there. Darlo Smith, this is a really interesting question. Do you ever get PR from drugstore or less expensive brands? If yes, do you test them or give it away? So very, very rarely. Obviously, I'm very clear what my channel is. My channel is high-end and luxury makeup. And if a drugstore brand asks me, which typically they do first, then I will say that. So then they would say, okay, no problem, we won't send it. Obviously a brand doesn't want to send PR if they know it's not going to get featured. It has happened on a couple of occasions where brands haven't asked and they've just sent a package. And then I feel uncomfortable because I feel like, I'm just not going to do a great job of showcasing it because it's just not what my channel is. But, sometimes brands, they have like a parent brand and I will already have a relationship with the parent brand, say like it's a brand owned by Shiseido or something like that, and they already have my contact information. They don't ask me, they just send the product. That's when that would happen. If a brand came to me and said, hi, we'd like to send you some PR or add you to our PR list, and they were a drugstore brand, I would be very clear that, my channel is luxury and higher end beauty, so I don't think I'm a great fit for the brand. But like I said, they don't always ask, so then it can happen. But I will always put anything I'm sent or gifted at least on my Instagram stories, because I think it's good to be grateful and appreciate any brand sending you their products. So I will always do that, but yeah, it wouldn't get used on my channel. So I will always tell a brand and be very clear about that. Lawyer Mother Online Shopper, what a title, says, tell us about your history with swimming. I've been asked about swimming, my life as a swimmer, a few times, but I mean, like, that is like 20 odd years of my life. So it's not something I could quickly answer. And I don't know what people want to know. That's a whole series, a whole channel in itself. So I don't really, when people say, tell us about, I don't know what you want me to tell you. What do you want to know? Like, I don't know. There's a lot to say. But I have been thinking maybe I'll do one of my trying new makeup telling stories videos about my swimming, and I'll put out a call out. What exactly do you want to know? Because whenever I say that, people say everything, and I'm like, well, I started at 4. My first length, it's a lot. Okay, so I need to specifically know what you want to know. But I mean, the short version is, yes, I was a swimmer. I was a breaststroker. I swam internationally for my country. Never made it to the Olympics. That's the biggest question everyone wants to know, if I went to the Olympics. No, I didn't. Not everybody does. So that is the condensed version, but maybe I'll do a longer version if people are interested at some point. Self-Claire5 says, how often do you do one-on-ones with my children? So I have only really just started sort of doing intentional one-on-ones. Like I said, my son is 7. So until he started school, I had a lot of one-on-one time with both of my children very easily, because one of them was at school or one of them was at nursery and one was on their school holidays. So I had a lot of time. And then when my daughter started school, I had a year with my son every day while she was at school, and then COVID hit and that was really very tricky to do that, and now we're coming out of that, and they're old enough now where I think it's really important to have one-on-one time with them. And it happens very naturally. I would say I do one-on-one time with both my children like every day, not necessarily an intentional take them out, go somewhere, experience something together, but my son loves to game and so do I. So he gets in bed with me most mornings and we'll play a bit of Animal Crossing together while we chat, and that's really nice, lovely, special one-on-one time. And my husband will take my son to play football like multiple times a day, every day, while my daughter and I sit and watch Harry Potter together and do things like that. So we are doing like one-on-one time with our children every single day. But I am just starting now to do like at least once a week sort of little trips or little things, even if it's just taking one of them shopping or taking one of them, to their sports thing or whatever on their own, or just out in the car on a little errand running together. But the main thing for me is talking, having that chatting time one-on-one with them. We do that every day. Sabsa says, did you stop your moving plans completely or just for the moment? How far is your family away? So what a story, what a saga that was. So no, we took a break. So if you don't know, we sold our home about a year ago. Our house went on the market, we sold it, we had an offer accepted on another place, and we were all going through over like the summer basically. We should have moved around September of last year, but about a week before everything was due to be like done and we were moving, our buyer just pulled out. I hate them. I don't say hate very often, but those people really, really... I have some feelings about them. So we went initially back on the market in an attempt to like resell our house and not lose the home that we wanted to buy and that we had, you know, done all the prep and everything for. We went at it for like a month. We had like viewings and everything, and it just didn't work out. Unfortunately, the timing was horrendous because here in the UK, the interest rates and all the mortgage rates had just massively gone up. And so no one was trying to buy a house or get a mortgage at that time. And then we lost the home we were trying to buy. And so we just were like, forget it. We just wanted to take a break. We'd had enough of viewings, enough of keeping the house immaculate with 2 children and a dog. So we just needed a break over Christmas, re-energize, recompose ourselves, and we're going back at it right now. So literally today, photos are being taken. It's going back on in about a week or so, and we're going back at it. But yeah, I don't feel very excited about it because of what happened last time. But yeah, we go again. It's just over an hour to my parents and it's like an hour and a half to my sister. So don't get me wrong, it could be a lot further. It's not that far, but I want to be like next door. I want to be 5 minutes away. I want to be pop round, do the shopping for my parents, mow their lawn, like meet them for coffee several times a week close, you know, that's how close I want to be. I want to live with them. I will move in. Yeah, so I really want to be like where my family are and see them all the time. So yeah, I want to be closer. And everybody fingers crossed that it happens this time. YPH 500 says, do you make a proper monthly salary from YouTube or is it just pocket money? Here's the thing, okay? I have had so many times people have asked me about like my salary, what I earn, what I make from YouTube. And I am English and I am old fashioned. And I find it so uncomfortable to talk about money in any way, shape or form. It's just so unnatural to me and nothing anyone I know would ever talk about money. It's like this thing you don't talk about. You don't talk about it, you don't mention it, you don't talk about your earnings, you don't talk about the salary. We just don't do it. It's not done. But people are very curious, especially when it comes to YouTube. It's such an unknown. People have no idea, like, how much money do you make? So thank you for asking in like a really soft way, not like how much money do you make, but you know, do you make enough? Do you make a good living? So I'm happy to talk generally and vaguely about it, okay? To the best of my abilities while feeling awkward inside. So the first year I was on YouTube, I made nothing because I wasn't monetized. You have to have a certain number of subscribers and a certain number of hours of watch time. So people have watched X number of hours, I think it's 4,000 of your videos before you can get monetized. So year 1, I made 0. And every year since then, over the next 5 years, I've made more and more. I've pretty much doubled my earnings each year. So yeah, the first year I made nothing because I wasn't monetized. I hadn't hit the targets that you have to hit in order to monetize your videos. So year 1, I made nothing. Years 2 and 3 was very much like a part-time income. I was still working like 3 days a week in my old job. And yeah, like a sort of top up of money from my channel. And then I'd say like year 4, it became like it was a full-time kind of salary and it's increased every year. So I will say that at some point I started paying higher level tax that I will share with you, which will give you a ballpark, and my money has increased every year. It is now easily the highest paying job I've ever had. And yeah, it does 100% at this point make a really good full-time living income, but certainly wasn't the case initially, certainly wasn't the case for several years. So I think that's the thing to be aware of if you're thinking about starting a channel, is that if you get to a certain size, and I mean, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, it's views that make money. So you could have 200,000 subscribers, but if you're only getting a few thousand views, then you aren't going to be making very much. Views are how you get paid. So that's something to be aware of, that you're probably going to work, unless you're very, very lucky and incredibly talented and have a very unique idea and USP, then you may go for years without really making anything. But yes, at this point, it's making me a very good living. ITL Ninja, is that how you pronounce that? I hope so. Says, how long can editing take? Do I use Mac or PC? So I am an HP laptop kind of girl. Okay, I just love an HP laptop. Never enjoyed working with Macs. I had Macs in my old job. That was the laptop that we had, and I couldn't get on board with it. I'm an HP kind of girl. Editing can take an insane amount of time. Depending on the video, it can take anything from like about as, like, say double the length of the video. Say the video is 30 minutes long, it will take you at least an hour because you're essentially watching the video in a very slow way and making little edits here and there. So it's always going to take significantly longer than the length of the video. If it's something like a Will I Buy It that involves, you know, putting in pictures and framing them and all of that stuff, it can be hours and hours. It can certainly be 4 or 5 hours editing a video, especially if it's longer and especially if it is, you know, one that just takes a bit more, it has a bit more to it than just editing out mistakes or something. So yeah, I mean, it's how long is a piece of string? It could be anything from double the length of the video to hours, and that's literally just editing it. You know, you then have all the thumbnails and all of the text information for your description box. Links for me take hours because I have to do a UK and a US link for every product I mention, every product I'm wearing on my face. That can take hours in itself. A lot of YouTube is actually admin, I found. Okay, so I think that is all the questions my voice is going to have the energy to answer today. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. Thank you so much for your support over the last 6 years, whether you're someone who comments on every video, who follows me on Instagram, or you're a silent viewer who just dips in every now and then. I'm so grateful for you for being here, for giving me a chance, for sharing some of your time with me. I really, really appreciate you guys for being here. I know some of you have been here for the entire 6 years. Some of you, this may be your first ever video. So thank you, however long you've been here, however you support me in whichever way. I'm so grateful, and thank you so much for sharing my community and space with me and just being a part of my channel. It's just so wonderful to have you. So now, how do you enter this giveaway? All you're going to have to do, you have to be following me on Instagram so I can message you, and you have to be a subscriber of mine here on YouTube. And all you need to do to enter is to just comment your Instagram handle in the comment section down below. So just put the name of your Instagram name so that I can find you if you are a winner when I randomly generate and pick a winner. It will be open internationally. If I can get the package to you, you can have it. Please remember that anyone replying to your comments saying, oh, you've won, I'm going to, please telegram me or please WhatsApp me. That's not me. That's not how I will pick a winner. I will only be DMing you on Instagram to tell you that you have won. And if you click on that message and go to the profile of the person who sent that message, you should be following me and you should be able to see that it is my Instagram profile, so you know it is legit. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for any information other than your address to post the prize to you. I will never ask you for your phone number. I will never ask you for your credit card information to PayPal. Nothing like that will ever happen. I will pay for the postage, so I won't be asking you for that, so that we are clear. If any of that happens, it's not me. You're being scammed. Step away. So I'm going to give you time to enter. I'm going to give you until close of play, midnight in the UK, on the 16th of April. That is how long you have to enter. By the 16th of April, you must have commented your handle down below. You must be following me on Instagram and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And I will pick a winner the week of the 17th and contact that person. So good luck to everybody. I can't wait to see who wins. I love sending giveaways to people and it's been too long. So fingers crossed to all of you. And I just can't wait for someone to receive all these amazing goodies because the prize is incredible. But thank you again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.